apart from the newly elected Chancellor of Germany. In 1934, Adolf Hitler finally gets to meet the man he wrote to 8 years earlier. Mussolini remains unimpressed and describes him as a silly little clown.
Adolf Hitler looks at Mussolini as someone who is providing a blueprint as to how to destroy the old order. Hitler learns from Mussolini, and he has a deep affection for him that goes beyond just admiration. It's idolization of Mussolini.
At first, it's Hitler who apes his great hero, copying the fascist salute and many of the Duce's ideas. Mussolini relishes his superiority at the beginning of their relationship. He thinks he can bully Hitler, too. In a move that will inspire the Nazis, he spends billions expanding the military. His plan is to widen his empire. So he sends his forces to a country that had embarrassed Italy in a colonial defeat 40 years earlier. In the autumn of 1935, over 500,000 Italian troops invade Ethiopia in a savage act of revenge.
Mussolini turns to Ethiopia in part because that has long been an object of Italian imperial ambitions.
It is the largest colonial army ever put into the field, and the war becomes one of the 20th century's most one-sided conflicts.
Mussolini wanted to create a kind of copy of South Africa in Ethiopia. In other words, to turn the Ethiopian population into what amounted to slaves or serfs and create a massive immigrant population of Italians who would practice a kind of apartheid. But they did so with such violence, such cruelty, such ruthlessness. There was a massive revolt in the center of the country.
This was one of the most brutal campaigns ever waged by colonial power.
Ethiopia had virtually no air force, and Italian planes could simply fly over Ethiopian villages or Ethiopian armed forces and do whatever they liked to them.
And the Duce instructs his bombers to fight dirty.
He wanted this campaign to be over quickly, and by the end of the year he said, we just simply got to use poison gas on a large scale. We just got to get this war finished swiftly.
In defiance of the League of Nations, Mussolini drops mustard gas on Ethiopia, something even Hitler refuses to deploy. Emperor Haile Selassie desperately appeals to the League of Nations to intervene. But they just look the other way. Mussolini's invasion of Ethiopia leaves the Lion of Judah's impoverished nation devastated.
The Ethiopian historians think that the death toll during the war is somewhere above 350,000 people, so it's a massive death toll.
The Ethiopian War was really the beginning of the Second World War. Mussolini knew full well that invading Ethiopia, he was breaking the League of Nations. It was going to give a green light to Hitler. Hitler could now see that you could act in defiance of the League of Nations and get away with it.
The bond between Mussolini and Hitler grows tighter than ever. In league with the Nazis, the Duce sends troops to aid Franco's fascists, fighting the Spanish Civil War.
Both countries got involved in the Spanish Civil War from 36-39, and the verdict was completely different. Germany fought a very, very successful campaign. Italy the Italians were defeated in Guadalajara in a very traumatic event again, and the comparison between the two was traumatic for Mussolini.
The Spanish campaign is the first sign the Nazi war machine is better equipped for conflict than his military. But the Duce ignores all advice.